What up, YouTube? You can't stop trading and investing with your boy James E. Good morning, good morning. Mondays, gotta love Mondays. I always look forward to Monday mornings when the market is opening. So today I want to talk about two stocks. I want to talk about OZSC, the consistency I'm finding in the chart pattern with OZSC and capitalizing on that. Also, AITX, the same thing. Finding the consistency in the chart patterns and capitalizing on that. And then just give you guys a quick little lesson in consistency in the market and knowing the difference between the mentality of, a trader and investor. But before I do that, man, please click that like button. Please subscribe. It is very much appreciated. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy that likes to research and analyze anything that I find interesting in the stock market. So, that being said, let's just get right into it, shall we? Let's start with OZSC. I talked about it in my previous video. If you haven't watched it, please go and do so. That I was finding consistency in this pattern of, just buying at the close and selling at the market open. Capitalized it on it once again with a nice $645 profit to start my morning. And then I also seen that same pattern, seen the consistency here in AITX, and again capitalized on that. Another $400 to start my morning. So, a nice $1,000 profit to start my morning. And those are the kind of things I look for, and it always starts with the chart pattern. And it's never just the chart pattern because even though I'm recognizing a pattern now and capitalizing on it in between these two charts, that doesn't necessarily mean that pattern is going to continue on. So you always have to be aware of that, and you always have to be willing to adjust. So for me personally, I've been getting a lot of comments, mostly from the investor side. And this is exactly why I have that mentality, mostly as a trader. I started off my journey in the stock market originally as an investor in penny stocks. Okay. And that didn't go so well. I lost a lot of money trying to do that 5 years ago, jumping into the markets, thinking, I need that lotto ticket. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be a millionaire now. So I want to buy the cheapest stock. And that's exactly my mentality. I would go buy pennies, like literally 1 cent stocks, 2 cent stocks. And, pray and hope that I could capitalize on them. Later on understanding that, the majority of penny stocks are just shitty ass companies. You do find some gems every now and then. But I would rather just trade the price action on the intraday for me personally because of my experience I've had with penny stocks and the bad luck I had in the beginning of my journey. So now I just capitalize on their movements, man, just short term. And consistently capitalizing on movements like this will grow your account exponentially. Compared to investing, I've also have investments involved as well. And I grow a lot faster trading, doing day trading and swing trading and overnight trading than I do just holding on to it for months. I do make good money doing that as well, but this is why I cater more towards trading instead of investing. Even though investing is great, though, don't get me wrong, investing is great, and I have great investments that I've been capitalizing on, that I've made 100% profit on, which is nice over a long period of time. But again, it's nothing compared to the capital I make from trading. And then just to give you some insight on it, in me personally, so I've been getting a lot of questions, about like GameStop, GME short squeezes, what's the next short squeeze, stuff like that. So just to give you a perspective, in the very beginning when I restarted my journey again, when this coronavirus hit and I had the opportunity to actually sit down and trade, I started August 12th. And if you see right here, you're seeing mostly red and a couple greens. And going into September, mostly red, couple greens. Going into October, up until the last week, you see mostly reds, then over green. All of those were due to me trying to play short squeezes, me trying to play low float runners, trying to capitalize on huge swings, thinking in my mind, greed, right? So it's, hey man, these things are being squeezed from, $5 to $40, $5 to 50, $5 to 100, or whatever the case may be in the squeeze. They're extremely risky, they're extremely volatile, and they will bite you in the ass if you don't know exactly what you're doing. There's so many variables that go into it. You have to know them all. If you don't know them all, you're going to get your ass chewed up. And so for me personally, that's exactly what happened. I started with a $4,000 account right here, August 12th. By the time I came to the last week of October, I was down to $2,700. But for me personally, I collect data. So everything I go through, I collect, the time of day. I go from first the day, the ticker, the time of day, the time I bought, the time I sold, market cap, volume, float rotation at the purchase price. I have so much criteria that goes into each individual trade that I save all that numerical data. And then just going through my data, I noticed that the majority of my green days were when I deviated away from low float short squeezes and trying to capitalize on them. So when I noticed that, I started going towards, slower moving stocks, not low floats. The chart patterns look exactly the same. I try to capitalize on the exact same chart patterns all the time. It doesn't matter what the ticker is. If the chart looks what it meets my criteria, I'm gonna go look into it. All my charts look exactly the same. But it was down here when I decided to go towards more, higher market caps, higher floats, and just slow and steady and make, slow and steady profit, making 8%, 10% moves instead of trying to capitalize on 20, 30, 40, 50, 100% moves in those squeezes, because everybody's trying to capitalize on that. And a lot of them don't necessarily know what they're doing and they're getting their asses chewed up. And as you can see, ever since I switched up that mentality from this last week of October, green week, green week, green week, green week, a 50-50 week here, green week. Then finally had two red weeks, but they actually were green at the end of the day when it came to dollar amounts, because I know how to control my losses. And then again, a green week. And then down here, took a small red week. But again, man, red and green come. And then January was my best month so far, period. I only had 5 red days in January. So again, man, it's just consistency. It's not necessarily trying to hit a home run. It's not necessarily just trying to be green all at once. So, just to go back in here real quick, at this point, like I said, I was down to about $2,700 in my account. So I added another 1,600. So now I'm up just a little over $4,000 again, because I wanted to re-up my $4,000. So now I'm up a little over $4,000. So since this point, I've made well over 200% profit on my money in consistency. Just consistently trading these slower moves, but understanding how they move, understanding the catalysts that make them move. From the news catalyst to sector plays to volume, to chart patterns, technical analysis, every aspect I could find that meet my criteria to make these things move. And once you find that consistency, you're gonna have red. So obviously there's red in each one of these months. But even with all that red, my winning percentages is about 67% of green days. And I grew my account in 3 months up over 200% profit. It's slow and steady wins the race, man. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I hear a lot of people use that analogy, and it's very true, as shown in both of these. So consistency is key, guys. LOZSC. I'm starting to see the consistency in the pattern. Does this have the opportunity to continue and break new highs? With the connection that they have to Tesla, I believe that they do. Will that happen? Who knows? Will it tank back down to 1 cent? Will that happen? Who knows? I honestly don't. I'm just a spectator in the market, and all I can say is I'm trying to capitalize on price action in the intraday movements for penny stocks. So just to give you guys my perspective, if I would have been invested and bought it, then I would have been missing out on all this profit and just been holding. And I don't necessarily like that. I don't want to hold through 3 red days because I was originally playing this at this breakout over here. And I capitalized in here. and then, boom, boom. If I would have just held it, I'd have been right back down to almost break even again. That's not something I'm looking forward to. That's not something I want to do. I truly want to capitalize on intraday price action. But the thing, once they die out though, and then it completely turns. So, I mean, the plays you're banking on will completely go away, and then you have to go find something else, which is fine though, man. So you always got to keep risk at a minimum and maximize your profits as much as possible. And when they're a slower moving thing, especially in OTCs are mostly technical. So once you get familiar with the technical pattern of an individual chart, then you could see, okay, if it breaks here, I got a good chance and it's going to run 20%. So now I can just hold on to it because it's not that volatile where it's going to drop 20% real fast like a short squeeze will do. So I just want to give you guys a quick lesson and my thought process on that, because I've went through that slip and spill where I'm trying to capture these short squeezes and, it's just biting me in the ass, man. So I had to move, again, the chart patterns I look for are the same. You see moves like this in a short squeeze all day and then a tank. This literally would be an intraday chart I used to trade, but now it's a daily. Looks the same exact thing, but instead of it dropping like this in 1, 2, 3 minutes, it's dropping like this in 3 days. So that gives me time to understand, okay, I'm going to wait, more patient to catch that bottom than in the case of a short squeeze. And this is happening in 3 minutes and me trying to capture it. And then it could potentially continue to drop, man. So just a quick lesson on that, man. And then again, OZSC, another gap up day. I'm hoping it'll close green. I was kind of looking to purchase here if it showed strength, but it dipped below it. But doesn't mean it can't reverse. If it reverses, I might be tempted to take that trade. And then that's the same one. Boom, boom. And then right here, AITX. This is actually looking like it's having a beautiful reversal. You could see it in the daily. So that again might be something, if it's holding in these levels in the 11s, that again might be something I'm interested to purchase because it looks like it's holding nicely. And once you get familiar with the way the chart moves, you could the probability goes up that it's going to move in your favor. So just a quick lesson on OZSC and how I capitalize on that, AITX and how I continue to capitalize on that, and the mindset behind it. Slow and steady wins the race, guys. This is a marathon. I'm not trying to get rich quick and try to capitalize on the next big penny stock. I want to find a hot penny stock in a hot sector that I could capitalize on the intraday movements. I don't necessarily invest in penny stocks, but there are some now in the era that we're in that do look really promising. But, I'm always be on that other side of the fence saying, but I don't know. Because this is the stock market and we never know. All we could do is speculate and hold and hope and research as much as we can, but that doesn't mean it's going to go in our direction. All right. So just a quick lesson on that. So capitalizing on AITX this morning, capitalizing on OZSC, starting off my February with a 1K profit. So a beautiful start to the month. And just showing you guys my actual consistency in the market over the last few months. And, it started off rough, but found my consistency. And so I stick with my consistency. All right. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think of my analysis. Let me know what you guys are going to do moving forward to OZSC or AITX. If you guys are holding for the long run, if you guys are trading it, if you're capitalizing on some of the advice, and some of the ways I like to trade, let me know. Again, man, if you made it this far, please click that like button. Please subscribe. You Can't Stop Mafia is a mindset movement, meaning never stop yourself, never stop your progress, never stop your education, especially in finance. Having multiple streams of income is an amazing thing, and the stock market is a place where you could do that. All right, guys, so I'll be sure to keep you updated as much as possible. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.